This is the brand new UDIRC 1609 1/16th scale mini drag car. It's based on the original Pinecone Models SG1603 platform, but it does have some nice upgrades. I've featured a lot of these little cars on my channel now, including the original SG1603, the Lancia Delta inspired version, the rally car, the Porsche and the Beetle. The Porsche version is still one of my all-time favourites, and I think that was one of the best looking RC cars to be released last year. I thought we'd seen the last of these little cars, but no, UDIRC have given us another one. So taking a look at what we get in the box first of all then, now you've got the UDIRC 1609 drag car itself. Now we've got a decal sheet, and as you can see I have already applied some of those to the car. We've got a USB charger, a small toolkit which includes a screwdriver, a little cross wrench, some spare body clips and an Allen key. And finally the instruction manual. Now this thing is quite nice. You've got all of your part numbers in there, all of your exploded diagrams and everything you need to get you up and running if you're a beginner. The battery that you get with this is a 1200 mAh 2S lithium ion. Moving on, let's talk about the 4-channel transmitter then. Now this thing is updated. The one that you used to get with the SG1603 was actually a lot bigger. This thing is a lot smaller and it does feel a lot nicer to hold. You've got a nice foam grip on the wheel there. We've got our gyro settings. That is the ESP switch. We've got our steering dual rate, steering trim, a couple of reverse switches and an on and off switch. We've got the channel 3 button on the back of the transmitter and channel 4 just on the right hand side. You've got 3 different settings when it comes to your speed, and we're going to take a closer look at that later. So back to the car then. Now I do have to say I'm not entirely sure I like the styling on this one. Compared to some of the other models in the range, I'm not sure about this one. Now that said, it does look kind of cool, and if it performs well, then it might change my mind. Let me know what you think of the styling of the UDIRC 1609 in the comments section down below. Right, so let's get the body shell off and take a closer look underneath. So let's have a look at the electronics then. Now we've got a 25 amp brushless 2-in-1 ESC and receiver, a 3800 kV brushless motor, a 1 kilogram servo. This thing has also got an inbuilt gyro which you can adjust from the transmitter. Now it is worth noting the gyro will only work when the car is actually in motion. Standing still, it won't actually do anything. Moving on to the chassis features then. Now we've got these really nice oil-filled aluminium shocks. These things feel really good, and these are an upgrade on this. You don't get these on the standard SG1603. Now as you would expect, you do get ball bearings throughout, metal diffs front and rear, metal CVD drive shafts on the front, very nice chunky dog bones on the rear, and I'm not sure if you can see it, but tucked under there we've got a very nice metal centre drive shaft. We've got a nice foam bumper on the front which is going to help if we crash. The usual plastic chassis that we're used to seeing on these little cars. Finally the wheelie bar on the rear. Before we move on, I do want to talk about the tyre compound because these things are seriously soft, and I'm pretty sure that's normal for a drag car. They're going to be really grippy, and I hope that helps us to pull a few wheelies. Now if I've missed anything, I will leave a link down below where you can head over to Banggood and check out the full spec of the UDIRC 1609. Right, so moving on to the LED lights, let's give you a quick demonstration then. Now we've got them switched off, as you can see. If I click the channel 3 button in on the transmitter, we've got the red rings, we've got the red rings and the white headlights, and then they go off again, and then if we click the button in again, we've just got the white headlights on their own. Click it again, we've got the white headlights and the red rings again, and then off. So you can cycle through all the different LED modes until you find one that you really like. Now when you switch the lights on, you will also get your red LED light bar at the back, just like that. That looks really cool. Very nice. So there's only one thing left to do. Let's get the battery charged up, let's head out, and let's see how this thing performs. See you in a moment. So it's finally time to give the UDIRC 1609 its very first run. It's a little bit wet today, but we're going to see how we get on. Now I won't be speed testing this today, firstly because the conditions are horrible today, secondly because I've already speed tested this chassis so many times, the brushed and the brushless version. These things can achieve about 23 to 27 miles per hour, which is actually quite a lot considering how big they actually are. Right, so first test, I've got it on the lowest speed setting at the moment. Feels quite grippy. Those tyres feel nice and grippy. I don't think we're going to be seeing any wheelies today. It's just a little bit too wet. Very nice, nice and controllable. I have got the gyro switched off at the moment because I want to see how the car feels without any stabilisation. It actually feels really good. Now this does feel a lot like the other cars in the range. It feels a little bit heavier though, and it would make sense because it is slightly larger. But that said, doesn't perform too bad on the lowest speed setting. Right, so let's go to speed setting 2 then. Let's see how it feels on that. So speed setting 2, still got the gyro switched off at the moment. This feels a little bit quicker. And even with the gyro off, it does feel controllable. Remember, it is very wet today, which isn't helping when it comes to traction. Speed setting 2 is nice. Let's go up to speed setting 3. Right, so we're on the final speed setting now, and that has changed things dramatically. There's a lot more power. This thing feels insane on the last speed setting. I want to switch the gyro on to see if it makes any difference. So I've got the gyro switched on now. It definitely helps. Gives you that little bit of stabilisation that you need to try and keep this thing in a straight line. Now this is a drag car, so you're going to be going in a straight line pretty much all the time, especially if you do plan on racing these. So you will want that gyro switched on. Not a bad little car at all. So there we go then guys, not a bad little car at all. I just wish conditions were a little bit better today because I really wanted to see if this thing would wheelie. Now that said, I think the wheelie bar is probably just for show. I don't think you're going to be pulling any crazy wheelies with this thing. I just don't think it's powerful enough. Now comparing this to the other cars in the range, I'm still not sure about the styling on this one. Performance, well, it's just like the others. You're going to be getting the same sort of speeds out of it, same performance. The only difference is you have got the bigger tyres, larger body, and that big wheelie bar on the back. Would I go for one of these if it was just based on styling alone? I don't think I would, because you have got some really good looking cars out there in this range. The Porsche, the Beetle, they all look really, really good. I'm not entirely sure I like the styling on this one. Now you may disagree, and if you do, drop a comment down below and tell me I'm wrong. Tell me this thing looks great and you're going to be buying one very soon. So not a bad effort by UDIRC. They've certainly made some good changes to this chassis. I think one of the biggest ones is the oil-filled shocks. You can definitely feel the difference compared to the friction shocks that you get on the other cars. Now guys, it really doesn't matter which one you go for because they're all really good, cheap, beginner-friendly cars, and some of the other ones even include drift tyres if you want to have some drift fun. Grab one of these if you want to add a great addition to your mini RC collection. Thanks for watching, see you on the next one. Take care. Now if you want to see more videos on these amazing little cars, click one of these videos now.